Let's try that again. I just turned on my microphone and I have a list, right? But I got the microphone. I forgot to turn it on. That minor problem. Good morning. Happy day. It is very good to be here with all of you. As I look out my office window, the sky is actually this morning. It has been very gray and overcast the past few days, so blue sky is kind of exciting. I think a sign that things are looking up. And blue skies has always been a mantra for me to mean everything's going to be all right. So here we are, blue skies. I'm happy. Hope you are happy to be here. I don't see any of you signed in yet. I'm going to assume that, oh, good morning, Heidi. At least it's the two of us, sweetheart. Hope that the rest of you are coming in now. I will just kind of vamp for a couple of minutes while fine. If it takes you as long as it takes me to figure out how to get where I want to go in Facebook, I'll give you time. Good morning, Rosa Maria. Happy you're here. Yeah, I hope you've got your coffee in your hand. It's like you do. Oh, what a good Sunday morning it is. What a good day with you. Good morning, Alicia. Glad you're here. Oh, family gathering. I love it. What a good time to be together. What a good time to remember that we are all connected and to do whatever it is we need to do to test that connection and to connect also with something greater, something bigger than us and bigger than what is going on in the world. And that's even more, that it is in fact bigger than what is going on in the world. Donna, glad you're here. I love it. It's such fun to watch your names pop up over here, right? And know that you're with me and that I'm not just talking to myself this morning. Oh, I do talk to myself on occasion. We all do, don't we? And sometimes what we say is good, and sometimes what we say is not so good. And I'm kind of here to remind us all, including myself, that it pays well with ourselves. It pays to say good things to ourselves. It pays to remind ourselves healthy and wealthy and wise and powerful and protected, all of those that we would have in our lives. Not just praying to an outside God to bring those things into our lives, but rather to recognize that they are, in fact, already here, which then is like, it's like turning on the switch. Yeah. It's like going beyond, I am powerless to help myself in this situation. Is within me, and I'm gonna turn it loose right now. So that's what we're here for, to turn that power on right now, to be together, remember being together, that we are connected not just to each other, but to even greater. Two or more officially are gathered here now, and so good morning, Heidi. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, Laura, darling. Good morning, Laura, darling. I have two Lauras with me this morning. Oh, and a bunch, two or more Lauras are gathered here this morning. And trust me, I know these two women, and it does better than that. So here we are. Whoops. That was the sound of falling, obviously. We're my technical magician over here. Good morning, Kat.
Morning.
My wizard director, my lighting director, my tea supplier, my audio person is still setting up lights. I guess she figures I can't be seen quite well enough. It's dark in here this morning. I don't know why. It's brighter outside than it usually is. But if I keep getting because more lights are going up, other than whatever it was that fell on the floor that may not be with it longer. Oh my. Yes, I'm getting all kinds of light. Oh, I kind of like that one. Look at me. I'm standing in the light. What a lovely thing to do. I am enlightened. See, there's more than all of that stuff, isn't there? So here we are together to be enlightened. And I think I'm going to, let's see, should I yet? Shall I just jump into what I'm about? I think I shall. Let's see. Hold on a minute now. I've got a tiny bit of adjustment to do. There we go. Okay. So here's an interesting fact. With everybody staying home and with businesses closed to walk-in traffic, at least here in California, and that's where I am, I find that my email runneth over. See, with everybody home and their computers, and with salespeople not being able to be salespeople in the old-fashioned way, everybody's sending emails. There has been a deluge of biblical proportions. Inbox. There are an amazing number of sales of all kinds of things, some of which I won't mention. And an even more amazed in my email number of classes and webinars and workshops. Everybody has got a cure, an answer, a solution. I do a lot of deleting, honestly. Sometimes I don't even open whatever comes. It's just delete, 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 delete. I do it just to maintain my sanity. It would take me, I think, all day to read the emails that I get. Whoa! That was the sound of another light being, well, it's still enlightened. It's just limping a little bit. So be patient as we set all this up. I'll be patient because she who is in charge of all of that is getting mad at the lights. I can look on her face. So, as I was saying, I do a lot of deletes. And every once in a while, a title or something, or who it's from, will catch my notice. And there are some people from whom I get emails that I just always open. Several friends always make me laugh. Carolyn and Pamela are great at sending those emails that just kind of make your day, you know? This one was from a friend and lighting director. So I read it. I opened, I read it, and not only did I not delete it after that, but I kept it because I wanted to share it with you. It is the writing of a woman named Gurpreet Gill, who is a conscious breath practitioner in Colorado. She is also an intuitive energy healer and an integration coach. This business card must just go all the way around to the back. Anyway, living in Colorado, what I appreciated was she's going through the science that all of us are going through pretty much wherever it is we are. But interesting perspective on it. And that's what I wanted to share. How not only is she getting through what is going on in the world right now, but how she's at it. So her thoughts are these. There is so much to fear, and perhaps rightfully so, about 19. And what if there is a different way at this? What if we subscribe to the philosophy that life is always out for us, And isn't that what we teach? What if there is an intelligence far greater than just humans? More of what we believe. And she says, what if it is all interconnected? I might have stopped right there because I was absolutely hit by something universal about the truth. Ernest Holmes' golden thread that runs through all of the religions, the truth that is there if we will look for it. What if, anyway, I continue, she asks, what if the virus is here to help us? Help us to reset, to remember what is truly important. Reconnect family and community. Reducing travel. Environment, the skies, the air, our lungs all get a break. She mentions that parts of China are seeing blue sky and clouds for the first time in forever, with the factories being shut down. She goes on to say, working from rather than commuting to work creates less pollution, more personal time, reconnecting with family, because there's more time at home. And really important, an invitation to turn inward, go into deep meditation, rather than the usual extroverted going out to self-soothe. Time, she says, to reconnect with self, to ask, what is really important to me? A reset, economic, to consider the working poor and the lack of health care access for 30 million people in the United States. Time to reconsider the need for paid sick leave. And then she asks, how hard does it to work to be able to live, to have a life outside of work? We forget sometimes, don't we, that we went to work originally to create money so that we could support those things to do outside of work. She goes on, a reset to face our mortality, to check back into living life rather than simply working. Time to reconnect at the heart with our elders who are so susceptible to this virus. And then she asks, washing our hands, how did that become a new thing that we needed to remember? But we did. A reset to discover the presence of grace for all. I love that phrase. Of grace for all. There is underway in our society. What if it is one that is fake for us? What if this virus is an ally solution in our remembrance of what it means to be connected, humane, living a simpler life, to be less impactful and more kind to our environment? She closes by saying, this is an offering from this morning, offered as another perspective, another way of relating to this virus. this unfolding, this evolution. It was time for change. We all knew that. And change has arrived. What if? So, my friends, what if? What if this invisible enemy is more than it seems to be? What if this is a wake-up call? A cosmic 2x4, intended in its intensity to shock us into this that we have slipped, that we have detoured from the path, that we have, in so many ways, lost our way. Many of us have forgotten that we were meant to be caretakers of the planet, not its destroyers, not its users. Many of us have forgotten that having dominion is about taking responsibility, that it is not permission to abuse, endanger, or exterminate. Some of us have forgotten that we were meant to care for the well-being of the next generation, as well as for the well-being of the previous one. We have, many of us, forgotten that we are meant to take time to look within, to listen to what Lincoln called the better angels of our nature, and to allow that inner wisdom to show us the way, to see that there is life, more to living than fear and hoarding and acquiring. We have forgotten to look and listen and to evaluate the repercussions of our choice. So here we are. And if we look intentionally, we can see where here is. And then the question becomes, is this where we want to be? Perspective changes everything. And perhaps we could all use with a little adjustment of our perspective. So here's a question. From where you are, can you see where you want to be? Where you would feel right about yourself in the world? Have you looked? Or if you have looked but then looked away, my question is, why not continue to look? To look for the good, or the blessings in this interesting and crucial time. If you've been looking, good. Finding the blessing will lift your spirit and help heal the fear and the frustration that times such as this creates. If you have not looked, or not continuing to look, what if you did? What if you refuse to let this get to you in anything but a positive way? What if you insisted that there must, not should, but must be a blessing in this for you, those that you love, for your world? Story in Genesis that I have always loved and have used before. So but hang in there with me. It's about a man named Jacob. And Jacob, having sent his wives and children and servants and all of his possessions, was left alone by a river at nightfall. And the story goes, a man or an angel, depending upon which version of the story you're reading. I like to think of it as an angel. An angel appeared and wrestled with Jacob till daybreak. And when the angel saw that he could not overpower Jacob, he took the socket of his hip so that it was wrenched. That's cheating, I know, but apparently it's okay for angels. Anyway, but still, Jacob persevered. And finally, the angel said, "Let go, it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, and here's the real lesson in the story. Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." I will not let you go unless you bless me. This thing that he had been fighting with all night long, this thing that had wrenched his hip, this caused him pain and sleeplessness throughout the whole dark, lonely night. I will not let you go unless you bless me. And the angel's reply was simply, "What is your name?" Angels are that way, I guess. "Well, Jacob," he answered. And then the angel said, "You will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But the angel replied, "Why ask my name?" And then he blessed him there. And so Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "Because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The story ends with these words. And the sun rose above him past Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Isn't that a great visual? It's a real Hollywood ending, isn't it? The music swelling as Jacob, now Israel, limping into the dawn of a new day. In fact, into the dawn of a new world, blessed by an angel who might well have. It's a great story. Love it. So what if, my friends, what if each of us insisted, as did Jacob, that we would not quit, we would give up, we would not surrender to this 21st century assault on our lives until we conceived, understood the blessing that it holds? How might that change the way we move? How might it change that which we say I am, that which we call ourselves? How might it change the world? If we were as determined as was Jacob to be blessed rather than cursed by this global event, how might it change our lives and our world? And what if, in fact, we have already been told how to respond, how to react to all of this, but just didn't realize we had already been informed? What if Spirit has already said I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. And now all upon heaven and earth to witness the choice that you make, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live. What if? Well, according to the New Living Translation, that is exactly what God said in Deuteronomy 30. You don't have to take a word for it. Look it up if you need to. After our hour is over, of course. So here's the point. We live in interesting times. That's a fact. But what isn't all awful? Now, I'm not saying that the death toll is staggering. It is. And I'm not saying that unemployment isn't skyrocketing. And I'm not ignoring the very real fact that may well lose their homes and whatever savings they may have had. Nor am I ignoring that they may lose their children, their parents, each other. I'm not saying that the world will not be forever changed by this invisible enemy. What I am saying is that the change may not be all bad, and that perhaps it would serve us to stop and look for the good that follows in the wake of it. What fact this thing that is upon us is a blessing in disguise? What if it contains opportunities for us to change into something better, something more humane, more understanding, more in alignment with our soul path, alignment with our purpose for being here? What if it's here to help us see what needs to be readjusted? What needs to be reconsidered, reevaluated? What needs to be brought into perspective? And what needs to change? We have all been saying, wait for a return to normal. I'm just saying we might want to reconsider that. Take a look around at those people and places that have insisted upon continuing with business as normal. People and places that have ignored or challenged the veracity of what is happening. Are they faring any better than the rest of us? And are they serving the greater good? Personally, I think not. See, if a return to normal, a return to ecological destruction, a polluted atmosphere, an imbalance of work and personal time, a disconnect between you and the people you most love, if it means a return to an impersonal world that reveres the almighty dollar and almighty and unlimited force for good, well, then I'm not sure that I, for one, want to normal. Let's hear those words again. I said to you, life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life that you and your children may live. What if this is not a threat? Wasn't a divine punishment? What if it is, in fact, a divine intervention? If that is true, your options are clear. Choose blessing. Choose life. This is a new world. May I be transformed by the renewing of our minds, by the inspiring creative power of our choices, and by our discovery of the presence of grace in every moment of our blessed lives. The choice lies before blessing or curse. It is your choice alone. The world is changing, and your life may never have the same. And that may be the best news you have ever heard. Whether it is good news or bad news will ultimately be determined by the choices that you make. We can't stop it. The world is changing. More importantly, you can change your world. The opportunity is here. So what if you did? What if you consciously, purposefully changed your world for the better? Well, there's something to consider this week. May you and may we all be blessed by the decisions you make. Before I go on, I take this opportunity to thank all of you who have donated at the religious relevant spirituality site. That is very much appreciated. Not the Facebook, but the www.relevantspirituality.com. There are donate buttons there. Choose to give. And I want to thank all of you, and there are many of you who have shared the videos, talks, both from Sunday and from Wednesday night. If you're not sure how to do that, know that all you have to do is click on the share button at the bottom of the video, and it will show up on your timeline. It's kind of magical. I'm still a little in awe of every time it happens. I believe that's the best way to build our spiritual family, to invite others. That's how I got here, and I'll bet that's how you did as well. So, here we are. Sunday morning, the family gathers. I can't tell you how happy that makes me to be here with you, to share whatever has popped into my mind, inspiration during the week. I love that. And I love that you're taking, I'm very appreciative of the fact that you are taking time out of your life to be here and to practice thinking in a new way. So hold on a minute while I check in with over here. Do we have any questions, comments, anything that
A lot of comments and a lot of agreeing that they are blessed, and
Good.
It's a choice to hold dearly cherished.
It is. It is. You know, a friend this week suggested that I'm not going to read into it and assume what she suggested. Let me just say that she offered that it might well to listen to a very fundamental preacher, because it was about our immortal souls. And all I could think of was the talk that I gave last week, the week before. It is well with my soul. It is well with my heart. No, that works very well for some people, and it certainly works very well for the person who suggested it. It just wasn't my path. It didn't speak to me. And I believe with all of my heart that spirit has found to express in this world. I don't know about the whole universe, although I'm going to make the assumption and go there. But at least this world has found a way to speak to everyone in a way that speaks to their heart and their mind and their life, their environment, in such a way that it gets in and it gets its message out to each in their own way. And we are blessed. I know we are blessed in this country to have a wealth of voices. If you don't like the way the Presbyterians are speaking to you, you can go listen to the Catholics. If it doesn't work, you can go listen to what the Jews have to say. If that doesn't work, you can go listen to the Muslims. All of that provided for us so that spirit can find a way to wake up its presence within you, to wake up activity and all of those many, many blessings that live within you that sometimes go to sleep or sometimes never had a chance to be woken up until you hear spirit in a way that speaks to you. So I am very glad to have found truth as I understand it in this way. And even more precious do I hold the honor of being able to share my understanding with you on a Sunday morning at noon or on a Wednesday evening at 7, or anytime you're willing to share the video and let it come into your heart and your home and share it with your friends. Please feel free to do that. In fact, I encourage you to do that so that our family can grow. So, anything else? Old technical person. I feel so well lit. It's lovely.
Ask them if they like the lighting. If they're, because it's a little dark here, but maybe it's good.
Oh, okay. I'm asking you if you didn't hear that, if you like the lighting. Cac says it's a little dark over on her side, but it looks pretty good to me here. So what do you think? How does lighting look? If I go back forward, seems to stay the same for me. We also noticed earlier this week, rewatching the video, that if we stood up and looked at our monitors from a slightly elevated position, I looked even better. So if I'm looking tired or dark to you, try standing up. I don't know, maybe it works. It works here. But if I stand up right now, all you're going to see is the bottom of my shirt. So you can also tell what I'm reading lately, can't you, and what I'm kind of into by looking at my book. I'd happily share all of that. One of these days, I'll do a talk on tarot and spirituality, because I'm really quite into that right now. And I'm amazed that if I draw a card, it really says what I need to hear in any given moment. I'll talk about that some more. Somebody has said they thought it would be interesting. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. Happy lunchtime.
Don Burgess is with us.
Hi, Don. I'm told that you're here. Glad of that. You spend a lot of Sundays in Ventura, don't you? Your wonderful family, and thanks for being here internetly as well.
Don Burgess, the lighting looks great.
Don thinks the lighting looks great, and Don would know about those things. Yes. So thank you, Don. And my lighting director over here is thrilled that you think it looks great because she's been working very hard at it. And it's nice to know that someone who should know agrees that it's good. I think it looks great. I'm happy with it. So, questions? Any questions? If you have any questions, put them in here and they will be passed on to me. My screen kind of freezes up at like the first few comments over to afraid to touch it and try to move anything for fear I will turn myself off the screen. So if you have questions this morning, if you want to know how to approach the upcoming week, now's the time to ask.
Ask them how they would handle this. What insights have they gained? How has them?
Did you hear that? I'll repeat it. What insights have you gained? How has this thing that we are all going through enriched life? See, this is a question. People are so busy talking about how awkward it is and how horrible it is that I don't think we talk enough about how, in fact, blessed we have been by it. So, how has it affected your life? What have you received from so far? We all know the bad news. What's the good news? What is it we'd like to tell the world to pay attention to? Thinking, da 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 da. That's all the music you're going to hear out of me. I was last week, I think, I don't remember whether it was Wednesday or whether it was Sunday, but I was commenting that back when it works, they would turn my mic off for the peace song. I asked them to. They already are. Honestly, that's the truth. And then Denise came on and said they didn't turn it off. I heard you. So Denise, although it's probably been 20 years, I apologize. An assault on your audio senses. Hand raised over here. Hold on.
Donna Wells, Clean Air, and Don Burgess says your voice always calms him and makes him feel better.
Oh, Donna, you. And Donna, yes, clean air. Clean air. And, many of us live in areas where the air is relatively clean. That's one of the reasons we live in Ventura right now. The air is beautifully clean. And why we moved to Cambria, because the air was beautifully clean. But there are a lot of people who don't experience that most of the time and who are noticing it now. With all the factories shut down and the businesses shut down and the cars off the road and the planes out of the sky, the air is cleaner and clearer. And we are all certainly blessed by that. Note from heaven. Laura says, I never knew I could be an elementary school teacher. Things to learn. I think my daughter is discovering the same thing. Now, of course, the question becomes, yes, you can. Do you want to on a regular basis? Some of you may. I wonder how many teachers this. Moms who did some homeschooling or accidentally and found that they really liked it, who will now maybe volunteer in schools, maybe go and get it and teach. Who knows? I wonder how many more blessings there might be.
Alicia says that it offers time for clarity,
and
some of the clarity has been very positive, and some not so much.
But it's clarity. I have an internet friend who lives in New York, and she has been looking at this abundance of clarity because in her case, there's nobody there but herself. So there's not even any kind of bounce things off of. We do some of that online, but she spends a great deal of time self-evaluating. And she has said to me, it is not all pleasant. We like to think then I'm going to meet God, and it's going to be quiet and happy and peaceful there. And sometimes it doesn't come out that way. Sometimes they've been avoiding for a very long time that pop up and say, now that I have the opportunity and your attention, let's talk about this. That may be some of the most valuable time you spend. Don't be afraid to look at those things. They've been inside of you probably for a very long time. Let them out. Let them out so that you can look at them and talk to them and decide if you want to keep them. Clarity is always good. What you do with it is what matters.
Heidi, it's the human spirit connection is greater than any other connection we have.
Oh, gee, Heidi, how clear is that? And we forget that sometimes. We depend upon other people, we depend upon outside experts, but your connection to spirit is the greatest connection you can have. It will create the greatest, it will create the greatest peace. It will create the greatest understanding, and when we have understanding, clarity and peace come along with it. So, yes, Heidi, absolutely. And that
Daughter says she's grateful for the times, the multiple times a day she has her kids and husband, making them breakfast at a slower pace, enabling her to be present with them.
isn't that true when you don't have to dash off to work or get in the car or go jump in the car and meet your mother for coffee at some ungodly hour? How much differently we connect when we have time, when a stopwatch running. Thank you, my darling daughter, for that observation. And thank you for taking the time to connect at an even deeper level with my beautiful grandchildren. Are, of course, bright and beautiful and wonderful. And they take after their mother, who I think takes after her father. Maybe her mother, a little bit.
Laura Mora says to be evaluating, listening, and learning.
Oh, Laura, thank you, darling. Yes. There's a card in the tarot deck that shows a farmer, I guess, maybe a gardener, standing by a really large bush, almost as big as the artichoke plant growing in our backyard right now, a really large bush that has pentacles all over it. And he's leaning low and staring at them. And the card is about evaluation. It is about stopping and looking and saying, what's working? What isn't working? What did I do to create this? Is this good? Do I want more of this? Do I need to do more of what I was doing? Do I need perhaps to do less? Maybe I just wanted a little tiny bush and now I've got this thing. But taking the time to assess and evaluate what is in our life, not just from a prosperity angle, but from every on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on an emotional level. What is that what you want? If it is, what did you do? How can you do more of? If it isn't, what did you do? How can you do less of that, or what might work better? We are so busy sometimes scattering around living our lives that we forget to stop and evaluate. I invite you this week to do that, to evaluate, to step back and look at your life and say, is this what I want? Let's do more of what you're doing. If it could be even better, what could you do more of, or what else is doing? And if it isn't, then what can you be doing? And for those, you go within. For those answers, you hold an online inside meeting with the infinite and say, how can I be even better? make this even better? How can I contribute in a greater way? What is my do to allow what Spirit does to work better through me?
Nancy D says having a lot of Zoom calls with people she hasn't talked to in forever.
Isn't that wonderful? There are a lot of people doing that, Nancy, and it's incredible. I have had people contact me that I haven't talked to in a decade. I'm getting emails from people going, oh, they're still out there. Connect. People have nothing better to do than sit in front of your computer. After a while, you get tired of playing solitaire, don't you? Do something more. Reach out and touch people with the gift that you are. Reach out and share your spiritual self. Connect. Not just the people that are kind to you, but if it feels good to you, how good will it feel if you do that for someone else? Don't just be a taker. Give. Reach out and touch. Be a great song title, don't you think? Reach out and touch someone.
Rod's here.
Good morning, Rodney. Now, see, there's someone I haven't seen or heard from in a very long time. Happy you're Rod. Happy you're here.
Alicia says, staying in the moment, focusing on the present, and letting go of control of things she can't control.
Alicia, if you do that, start your own webinar. I'm telling you, to teach people how to relax, not control what they, not try to control what in fact they can't control. We can, don't we? But we are so often trying to control life that we forget that there are things beyond our control, at least temporarily. Control is not a bad thing, but over-control might be. Stopping us from fully expressing life and accepting life just the way that it is and just the way that it is not. Any more comments I should be paying attention to over here?
Just a lot of support for what you're doing
Oh,
and your
thank
message.
you.
And and more of it. They like more of it.
Me too.
Pitch
Wednesday night. Okay, now, well, I did once already, but I will absolutely again. I am here. Same bat channel. Same place, Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. It's kind of free form. Old habits die hard. That was when I always left. Wednesday nights, I just kind of popped off the top of my head whatever happened to entertain me or make it upon me that day. And I'm playing with that format because I'm very comfortable with it, for one. And number two, it allows a lot of time and space for questions. I miss having a music filler. So anybody that wants to help me figure out how to do that, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Gives me a chance to catch my breath. But Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock, Facebook Live, right here on this page. And of course, Sundays at noon, right here on this page.
Tonight you'll be interviewed by Hercules Invictus.
Oh, that's right. Tonight, I'm doing a podcast. I'm being interviewed. The maiden voyage of a brand new show on Sunday nights. Interviewed by Hercules Invictus, who is just fabulous. He's a wonderful man. His wife is Athena. For those of you that are, yes, he is. He's wonderful. He's fabulous.
We'll post the link on your page.
Okay, we'll post. Actually, I think the link is on my page already, but if it's not, we will post it. It should be fun. I have absolutely no idea what we're going to talk about. Hercules said he wanted to talk a little bit about my books and about what I do, and that's all I know. So it will be me responding off the top of my head. Tune in for the entertainment value, if nothing else. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but I'm looking forward to doing it. So that's at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Those of you in other times, you know how to make the adjustment. Or Google it. Okay, shall we pray? Yeah, do that. So, deep breath. Oh, deep breath, clean air. Yes, a blessing. Another deep breath, because we can. Because it's free. Because it's all around and about us, kind of like spirit, isn't it? Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just soft focus. Power, presence, love, understanding, peace, prosperity, wholeness, health, joy. All of that and so much more contained in that which we call life, God, spirit, presence. All of that, the very essence of everything. And we assimilate it, we breathe it in as easily. Breathe in air. And just as air is already present within us, is all of that. And of our birth, we breathe in that which surrounds us, and that be us, and we become that. Joy, love, prosperity. We cannot be separated from us. It is as much a part of us as our DNA. It is, in fact, part of our genetic code, the presence of perfection, of peace, of breathing in consciously helps remember. It is a kind of spiritual timeout that allows us to move our attention from those things that are happening around us to the presence and the power within us. Breathing in consciously. A breath in, and I am filled with peace. A breath in, and I am filled with understanding, and with understanding comes love and solution. Another been. And whatever it is I deem necessary in my life, that becomes me, and I become that. Let us remember to consciously breathe. Not simply to take, for we do that all of the time, but to breathe in that which the air holds, the presence and the power, reality of God. For I know in this moment that that is all that we are. Not just God expressing, but a moment expressing God. It being all there is all that we are. It's the only way it can be. We accept that now. We are not powerless. We're not confused. We are not filled with fear. We are assured. And we are not lonely, for we are never alone. And so I know now that whatever it is in our life, Spirit is expressing as that here and now, in creative, in new and wonderful ways. And forth into this day, grateful for the awakening of the Spirit and all of its possibilities that are within us. Grateful for having this time together remembering. And grateful for the love and the support and the awareness that each of us brings to the world. Grateful. And so it is. Time to leave. For now. I'll be back Wednesday and next Sunday. I hope you will be too. And bring friends. Share the video. Share yourself. Share Spirit as you. It's the only way to be. Go with God. You can go no other way.